Devotion by Patti Smith, Chapter 3. He was a solitary man, in his late 30s, of unusual control, hardy, yet uniquely sensitive, having already negotiated the spectrum of academics, risk, art, and excess. A dealer in artifacts, rare manuscripts, and arms, he could easily identify the age of origin of an obscure ivory by feel, by the way it absorbed or reflected light. The valuable he delivered to museums, the exquisite he kept for himself. He had travelled extensively through, though not in leisurely fashion. His trunks contained a wealth of objects that, when sold, would add considerably to his fortune. He had done well, but the thrill of attainment had become hollow. He found himself uncharacteristically restless and short-tempered. She had skated through his waking hours. He pictured her eccentrically spinning her palace of ice. He imagined glimpsing her moving through crowds and faraway places. Her thick dark hair, so no hat or scarf, a battered pair of ice skates thrown over her small shoulder. The little witch, he was thinking, yet chided himself for attributing such power to an awkward schoolgirl. In a dream he sat at a table observing the vast grounds of an unfamiliar colonial state. The ghost of her, fragile as a stick of spun sugar, materialized in the bright green field. She turned slowly in the wimpy head-dress, accentuating her lanky frame. He watched her with pleasure as she accelerated spinning, her double-jointed arms bending easily in the light wind. "She will never be truly yours," whispered the woman serving him. He looked at her hard. "Did you speak?" he asked somewhat irritably. "No, monsieur," she said, without a trace of emotion. He awoke feeling inexplicably hemmed in a vague sense of hate. He threw on a robe and sat in the drawing-room, lighting a cigar and losing himself in the blue whirl of smoke. Several days passed, then he did not come. In truth, she missed his presence, which seemed to have inexplicably inspired her. Once again she was skating solely for herself. It was still very cold, but with her coat and the happy absence of wind, she was able to skate for a great length of time. The pond was her home, the act of skating her lover. She gave herself completely, generating her own heat. Each year she dreaded the coming of spring, for soon the ice would wane underfoot and the surface of the pond would crack, like a hand mirror dropped on a marble floor. Just a little longer, she implored nature. Just a week, a few days, a few more hours. She knelt on the ice, not yet dangerous, but soon. She did not see him, but felt him, sensed he was drawing near, and then suddenly she saw his coat. He remained in view, but maintained his distance, satisfied with their silent commune. She did not acknowledge his return, yet accepted him without reproach. Crossing her arms over her heart, she propped herself, reaching a higher elevation than ever before. Emboldened by his presence, she entered her third turn. Extending an arm above her, fingertips brushing the bread heaven, she cried out involuntarily, "Would that I could die this moment!" Just a folly, a teenager prayer, a moment exquisitely mastered. He withdrew, pierced. At dawn she had cold coffee, a bowl of berries, and some bread she had made the night before. The sun was already high, throbbing her, as she was hoping winter would last a while longer. As she reached the pond, she saw that he was already there, waiting. She set down her skates and approached him without trepidation, accessing a natural arrogance. He greeted her cordially in Swiss German, but detecting his accent, Eugenia answered him in Russian. He was taken aback, yet pleased. "Are you Russian?" he said. "I was born in Estonia." "You are a long way away." "I was brought here as an infant by my aunt during the war. The pond is my home." "How many languages do you speak?" "Several," she answered smugly. "More than the fingers of your hands." "Your Russian is very good." "Languages are like chess, and the words are like moves." They stood there in a silence that was not uncomfortable. She was thinking that they had only the experience of silence and the coat between them. "The coat," she began, but he waved it away. "The coat is nothing, little one. I can give you anything you could imagine. I don't give about such thing. I don't care about such thing. I only want to skate. The ice will soon fail you." She lowered her eyes. "I had a friend who is an important trainer from Vienna. You could skate all you want, through spring and summer, until your pond is ready for you." "What is the price of this privilege?" He stared at her openly. "I only want to skate," she repeated. He extended his card. She watched him depart in his dark overcoat. He was not a big man, but the coat gave the impression of strength. She waited until he disappeared down the path, then knelt down and pounded the ice with a rock. She could feel the vibration of water moving beneath the surface, layers of ice melting. She gazed unhappily at the sun, and it filled the atmosphere with the warmth of its light. It was all so beautiful, yet signaled the ushering of endless months without her greatness, happiness. Her defining sense of self was completely entwined with the laces of her skates. Winter would melt into spring, into summer, and she would have no recourse but to wait for falling leaves to signal winter's return. She felt for the card in her pocket, stirred by a chorus of sensations. She was at once liberated and trapped. That is the end of chapter 3.